Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Futch. I'm back with another installment of your action research proposal. In the last recording I did, we talked about the variables, and I'm just going to touch on that briefly. And what I wanted to touch on is that we went over the difference between quantitative and qualitative. That in quantitative you will see the independent and independent variables, but you will not see them broken down like that in qualitative. So I'm going to pause the recording for just a minute and I'm going to show you. Okay, I hate to just read this, but I'll kind of explain as I go along. It says a variable is any entity that can take on different values. Okay, what does that mean? Anything that can vary can be considered a variable. For instance, age can be considered a variable because age can take on different values for different people or for the same person at different times. A country could be considered a variable because a person's country can be assigned a value. And it says because quantitative research is rooted in the scientific method, we're trying to prove something. We have a hypothesis. And for that process, you have to have that specific terminology. But for qualitative, it's different. The methodology is different. But you can use the term variable, it's just used in a different way. And it says qualitative studies explore variables other than one that would, give a specific intervention, like you were manipulating something to cause an effect for something else. It says similarly, sorry for me to say, in deep studies of variables, qualitative methods allow the researcher to focus on the process of how something happens rather than just on the outcome or the results. And remember when I talked about your research questions, I said that for quantitative, those questions tend to always ask the how and the what. We're looking into how something works. We want to know what happens. We're looking at, more the how. We're looking deeper. We're not looking at effects that something has on something else. Okay, so enough on the variables. We're going to move on to research, previous research. So let me pause. Okay. I don't want to jump around too much, but I want to say this to explain this as part of the template. And I also included this in your announcement where I list the assignments. I included this at the end of that assignment. Explain the theoretical perspective that served as a background for the issue or strategy that is your focus. And I'll just give you for instance, when I did my dissertation, I found a theory. It was called Austin's Input Environment Output Theory. And I could, based on the research that I did, although I was looking at employment outcomes following a degree, an associate degree at technical colleges, I felt like that what happened while students were in school, or what they brought with them before they came to school, would affect the outcome. And in my case, the outcome, I was looking at employment. So I guess what I'm getting at, when I looked at the theoretical perspective, Austin's input environment output theory said that the input is what students bring with them. The environment is the school environment, what happens to them while they're there. And then the output would be my outcome, the job. Input was what they already brought with them, was their age, their gender, and then what happened to them in the environment. That was what major did they choose? Did they do an internship? Did they use career services while they were there? And then again, my outcome or output was, did they find employment when they left, when they graduated? So I was able to tie what I was looking at my questions and my study, what I was looking at, into a theory. And some of you, I mean, this is a little bit more in depth. This is more traditional research than it is action research. But it does ask for you to look for some theoretical perspective. And it also says, summarize what you learned about the question or possible approaches in your reading of scholarly and trade articles. So I'm going to pause you for just a second. Okay, this is our handy dandy example that I showed you last time. And, you know, there are mistakes in this, but this is an excellent example. So this student, you know, was talking about, this is about inclusion, you know, students with disabilities being included in a regular music classroom. So what I wanted to show is, if you'll notice here where she tied the theoretical concept of differentiation and connected that to her study and the questions that she was asking. So I noticed that a lot of you are talking about technology, or quite a few of you are talking about technology. So you might want to take a look at the cognitive theory of multimedia, because that deals with technology. Some of you may look at the constructivist viewpoint. And I'm thinking that I pulled up one more, and I'm going to pause you again because I think this is particularly on differentiated instruction. Let me look for it. If I can't find it, then we'll just resume where we are. So hold on just a second. Now, I didn't have it pulled up. Sorry about that, but there are theories out there, and they may, I mean, it doesn't have to be, you know, like Piaget or Erikson or Vygotsky, although constructivism is you know, easily applied to a lot of these. But see if you can find a theory and bring this into your research, into your proposal, and tie it into what you're looking at. But I want to go down because I'm going to try to cover at least 2 sections. And here I said on the previous research, I want you to kind of make a case for your paper. Look at other studies. Look at what they've done. Use numbers. Use stats. And this is the area where you're tying it into what you think is going to happen. Okay, for the process. Now she should have indented here, but she did not. The only time you don't indent in these papers is your abstract. The abstract is the only thing that's not indented. So she talks about, this was conducted over 2 semesters. What I want you to do in the process area is go over every single thing that you would do if you're not going to be able to conduct this research, or what you have done. You know, you've got to approach the principal. You've got to explain the study. You've got to ask permission. Then once you gain permission, you'll have to get permission from the parents or the students. So you've got to write a letter to the parents, write a letter explaining what you're going to do, and then get them to sign it, get permission from them. And these are all appendix, and I explained these briefly before, but she labeled these so nicely, and these are letters that will be included at the end of your proposal and be labeled Appendix A and Appendix B. But whenever you're discussing those letters, surveys, interviews, whatever tools you're using, those will be labeled, you know, with an appendix. And you'll label them A, B, C, whatever, according to the order, you know, that they're entered in your paper. But she goes on and explains every single solitary thing that she did in her steps up to gaining permission, up until she actually conducted. So you have this. I want you to look through this and see exactly what she did. because she did do a good job here. And it's a lot of information, a lot for me to go over, and I'm already at 10 minutes. And I know it's hard for y'all to watch and listen. I mean, I'm a little ADD. It's hard to stay focused on this, but hopefully these videos help you. But I want you to just make sure that you go over every single thing that you would do all the way from gaining permission until the very end where you gather data and even your results. So just the processes that you go through or that you would go through if you were going to complete or conduct this study. So that's all I've got. Hey, I'm 4 minutes short. So I'm giving y'all a break this week. I hope y'all have a great week. And if you have any questions, please email me. I'm always here, and I hope you found this helpful. Once again, have a good week. Bye-bye.